All right, get in here, you freedom-loving patriots from across this incredible nation. We have a Friday bombshell that the Scotus just tried to sneak under the radar. They're taking up another gun case. So if you guys are getting in here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell. This happened 10 minutes ago from this live stream. It's an unusual live stream on a Friday morning, but it warrants it, so make sure you guys are down and you are sending this out because this is a very important deal. All right, as I mentioned, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and as you guys get in here, let me see you in the chat, comments, likes, shares, all the things, and make sure the audio and video is good. I'm just gonna run with this because this is a pretty big one. All right, Notorious, I see you over there. Let me know if the audio and video is good, and then we're gonna get this, and make sure you guys send this out as you filter in here. Let's go, says Black Elk. That's right. The emojis, audio, video, that's all I needed. Let's get it, baby. And make sure you guys check out the sponsor of this live stream, Ammo Squared. It's a link to the Instagram page in the description box below. This is something like a 401k for your freedom seeds, squirreling away that freedom like you patriot-loving squirrels like to do. And then you can have it shipped to you, and you can have it stored in a larder if you wish, and all sorts of options for your freedom seeds. There's an Instagram link in the description box below. Check them out. Thank you to them. There are enough people here. Send this one out, guys. This has not happened in at least 2 years. Let's freaking go. All right. Here you go. Supreme Court takes a case that could allow more guns in malls and restaurants. Keep in mind, this is CNN. I will break down the whole thing in the non-anti-2A way. Check this out right here. I'm going to zoom in, and we're just going to walk through this because, like I said, this happened 10 minutes ago, guys. Make sure you send this out. The Supreme Court agreed Friday to decide if states may bar people from carrying guns on private property without permission of the property owner, wading into a thorny Second Amendment dispute that could expand carry rights in malls, restaurants, and stores. Oh my God, clutch the pearls, liberals everywhere. We might be able to have our rights in more places. Oh my God, it's terrible. All right, so as you're getting in here, remember guys, I've told you, we are winning. We are moving forward. They pushed too far, and now the lawsuits are percolating up in the system. This one, I'm going to show you all the details in a second. This is carry issue, okay? This is like sensitive places. This is like carrying in different individual areas. This is, can we go on private property? This is a big part of the fight that we've been dealing with from places like New York, California, Illinois for the last 2-3 years. If you guys are new to this, as a lot of the audience is, understand this is the government telling you that they can just decide where you can have your rights and not. It's like free speech zones, okay? Let's keep on going. It is the first major Second Amendment case the High Court has agreed to here in more than a year, as I mentioned earlier. I believe the last one was the, I can't remember the order, but I think it was the bump stock ban. If not, it was Rahimi. The court granted 5 new cases on Friday as it builds on a new term that will begin Monday and run through June. So this is an important piece to this. We're starting these things coming on Monday and running through June, which means we're going to hear the decision of this next year. Okay? This is big. The term is shaping up to be one of enormous consequence, with cases dealing with executive power during President Donald Trump's second term, transgender rights, and the future prospects of landmark civil rights era law to protect minority voters. This is what is actually being questioned here, right? This is the need to know stuff. And guys, if you're just now getting in here, like, subscribe, share, all the things, okay? This is a big deal. Hawaii enacted the gun law in question in 2023. So this is a new law, right? All the things that we've been covering together. Response to the Supreme Court's landmark ruling a year earlier that made it easier for Americans to obtain carry permits. That decision struck down a New York law that required residents to show proper cause to carry a handgun. Let me break this down for the people who are not the hardcore 2A support, and then maybe some of the more broad politic people in here, okay? This is based off of a decision called the Bruin decision. The Bruin decision, basically at a very high level, said you can't, as a state, say, nah, we might give you a carry permit versus we are going to give you a carry permit. So they basically, the may or the might issue or the may issue is what they called it. That basically means that's now gone and it now moves to a shall issue, means you're getting that carry permit. So what the states did in response to that, which is asinine on its face, they basically said, okay, yeah, you can carry it, but you can't carry it here. They went green, eggs, and ham. You can't carry it here, you can't carry it there, you can't have it on a train, you can't have it on this street, you can't have it in this. That's what they did. Okay? This is a response to that. This is what they would call the Bruin response laws. All right? That's the backstory here. So they're finally making up to the Supreme Court. This is awesome. Previously, the state's law allowed someone with a permit to carry their handgun into a store, for instance, unless the property owner explicitly prohibited it. The new law flipped that around and required unambiguous written or verbal authorization. It also barred the carrying of guns on beaches and in parks, as well as bars, restaurants that serve alcohol. And again, if you're not familiar with this fight, it's basically like saying you can have your free speech in this bar and you can have your free speech on this mall, but only if you have written or verbal authority to have your free speech. And then if you don't, then you can't have your free speech there. This is a constitutional right. This is a Bill of Rights issue. Okay? That's what they're talking about here. These Bruin response bills have been a pain in our ass for the last 2.5 years. They're now going to SCOTUS, baby. If you're just now getting in here, guys, send this out, like, subscribe, and share. Let's keep going. 3 gun owners who hold carry permits sued along with the gun rights group, claiming the new law in an appeals court decision upholding it rendered illusory the right to carry in public, which it did, right? 5 states, Hawaii, California, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York enacted similar restrictions. And we've already got other cases that are going on in other states as well. Let me jump over to the Hill. All right. If you guys are just now getting in here, SCOTUS just accepted a new case, which is going to be a landmark case for the 2A. The Supreme Court took up its next Second Amendment case on Friday, agreeing to hear a challenge to Hawaii's ban on carrying concealed weapons on private property without the owner's express consent. That's kind of the same stuff. I'm going to show you this. The decision is expected by next summer. It marks the Supreme Court's latest case that will apply its expanded Second Amendment test it laid out in 2022. That's the Bruin case I was just telling you about, requiring gun control measures to be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation, which the left hates. They absolutely hate it. It has led lower courts to strike down many gun regulations across the country, but judges have also split on aspects of applying the test. They're trying their hardest to keep the gun control in place, but it's very difficult to do. As you can see, it's now going a follow-up case to the SCOTUS. This is phenomenal. All right. Last year, the court provided additional guidance by ruling a federal crime on gun possession for domestic abusers was constitutional. That's the Rahimi case. The Justice Department and the gun rights group alike have since asked the justices to continue taking up Second Amendment cases to provide additional clarity. I've already told you that part. That's the cases. Here we go. This is something you need to know. The challengers urged the Supreme Court to take up the dispute to resolve a split between the appeals court and that upheld Hawaii's law and an appeals court on the East Coast that struck down a similar provision in New York. This is what I tell you all the time. Like, get in here. The reason this is so important in our rights fight, this is civil rights. These are Bill of Rights issues, okay? Second Amendment, First Amendment, all of them. What they have to do is they have to have multiple cases in multiple districts, and it has to go up the chain and percolate through. That's what Kavanaugh said in his most recent denial of AR bans. It has to percolate into the system, and then they have to have different opinions for the SCOTUS to come down. They want the system to be respected, is what they're trying to do. So if you got one in New York that says yay, and you got one in Hawaii that says nay, and those are different circuits, that means the SCOTUS has to resolve that issue. They're in conflict. Okay, there's a dispute. That's why this is so important that we consistently push things through to the courts, because they overstepped their bounds on the left. They went too far. All right, let's keep on going. The backfire is beautiful. That's not important. Let's go to this next one. This is NBC News. You guys, send this stuff out. You're looking at potentially a follow-up to a Bruin case. This is a pretty big one. This is similar to Heller and the McDonald. Miller. This is a big thing right here. Supreme Court takes up challenge to Hawaii's restrictions on concealed handguns. The latest gun right battle concerns where people with concealed carry licenses can take their weapons. This is a little bit more flushed out. Let me zoom this in. The Supreme Court on Friday agreed to take up a major new gun rights case focused on recent measures. We talked about that. I'm just going to skim through this to make sure that we're not missing anything that the other ones didn't have. A federal judge blocked the... Because this happened seriously 15 minutes ago. Case will be decided in new term, which starts on Monday and ends in June next year. Okay, so here's the bottom line. We're going to follow this a lot more closely, but the breaking news as of this morning is SCOTUS pulled another fast one, and now they're saying, we're going to take up another gun case, which is going to be a supplement to the Bruen decision, which is a very big deal because they've gone through Bruen response bills, and now those Bruen response bills are going to the SCOTUS. Make sure you guys stay tuned. You hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, send this everywhere because this is one hell of a way to wrap up a week and start a weekend. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for tuning into this impromptu live with this breaking news, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. Later.